true decolonization necessarily centers on the destiny of humankind.
I think we use it in the wrong way.
Okay.
So decolonization of knowledge is something completely different than when you talk about decolonization in terms of the war between Indonesia and the Netherlands. Because in their interpretation, they were already free, and then we came back and started a war. So that's the sensitive thing.
Then why do we need to call it decolonization? I mean, we have seen earlier movements, we have seen neo-Marxism, we have seen feminism, we have seen empowerment, we have seen subalterity, what. So is it just another term? And I think also we should consider that those postmodern movements and the increase of digital media have in the end led to an increase of fake news.
We need to have a critical look at the power of knowledge and how knowledge is monetized, archived, restricted, monopolized. The academic world should look at itself and break out of existing hierarchies. We think we can contribute to this process with Bridging Humanities.
Who is choosing what is digitized? Because often it's what is in the library at Leiden, what is in the library at Harvard or Yale. That's great, but it becomes a reflection of our old archive. So we have to start thinking about how other things get added to that. And I think that that's what a lot of people are talking about when we say, how do we give access to these tools to scholars from communities that aren't traditionally at the top of the power structure? And how do we make sure that their concerns are well reflected in the materials that can be studied?
Yeah, most of the people in the media are looking at, oh, what are we going to do with Google, or what are we going to Facebook? But there are such interesting inventions in Africa and in other countries of the world. They invented the most innovations in countries in Africa, in Asia, and in the south of America.
The colonization we are talking about in Africa, that decolonization did not really happen, and we still live, like Hans Stoller, a historian, says, we still live in the same sentiments, and we did not get rid of these power relations, really, and they are internalized in us. And what we try to do in this collaboration is get rid of it. But during our collaboration, there were quite some moments that I thought, wow, I'm still a racist.
What is important for academia is that you have a kind of free space to speak your mind, to do research without interest. And it's a very old tradition. It's not only a Western tradition. It's a tradition in many cultures, in many strands of history. So it's a fallacy to think that you need decolonization. That's not true. In every major tradition, there is this tradition of honesty to yourself and trying to find the truth. So you don't need the term decolonization. In my sense, it's nonsense. It might refer to a certain period in time, but it's not what it's about. It's about intellectual honesty. It's also about courage. So you have to have courage to be able to do that.
We're still having these feelings and ideas about the world that you're not even conscious of, but you have it. And making that more open, letting voices let voices talk who never talk, whose ideas we do not even know, make them part of our knowledge production, may make us as the West a bit humble. And West, I mean probably also academics from Africa who went to school often in Europe. It must make us humble. And by humbleness, I mean listen to the others and make ourselves not that important. And try to really come over these barriers of thinking that I hate it myself, but it's there and you can't deny.